ya Chineke na de ngosi onye ọbụla na-ekpe ekpere ka Nigeria wee wuru ofu nna nke bridge ndị dị etu a wee laa ha n'iyi Chineke na kiwe biko bịa kiwe kpọọ ha ọkụ kpee ezinụlọ ha ọkụ ka ha ra agbanyeghị ndị ha bụ ọbụladị ndị ụkọchukwu onye ọbụla mezuru ọnụ ma kulie wee sị na ọ ga-adịrị Nigeria na mma ọ ga-adịrị onye ahụ na mma na ezinụlọ na mma site ka o si wee na-eme n'ụbọchị nketa obodo kwesị bụ zuu Nigeria lekwa Nigeria ma dọsa ya Chineke na de ngosi onye ọbụla na-ekpe ekpere ka Nigeria wee wuru ofu nna nke bridge ndị dị etu a wee laa ha n'iyi Chineke na kiwe biko bịa kiwe kpọọ ha ọkụ kpee ezinụlọ ha ọkụ ka ha ra agbanyeghị ndị ha bụ ọbụladị ndị ụkọchukwu onye ọbụla mezuru ọnụ ma kulie wee sị
What is going to happen? I am taking IPAB to Abuja on the 17th of next month in our court case.
We are with you, sir. We are with you.
There will be 2 million people in Abuja.
Yes. I will be there. I will be there. I will be there with you, sir. I will be there. I will be there.
We take the battle to our enemies.
Yes, sir.
And let me make this very clear to you. You are under oath.
Yes.
And by virtue of that oath, you are under direct order from me.
Yes.
Any day you wake up, you hear I've been arrested, burn Nigeria down to the ground.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And all of you, 200 million idiots, complete morons, you are there. You looking sheepishly like a bunch of white. In fact, a hyena is better than all of you. Why do I even? Can you manage my makeup? If I want to interact, that is why I don't go to parties. I don't do anything because the way we reason is laughable. If I want to interact with true Africans, I go to wildlife safari park. At least if I see a zebra, a chimpanzee, those are our true Africans. We can mingle together. Maybe I can understand them better. Because at least if they see danger, they can run. All of you see danger and you keep embracing it. Keep embracing it. Look at Imo State. How many people in Imo State? Over 5 million. Somebody came forth in an election. They pushed him to number 1. Everybody is just like this. Even some bishops want to go and congratulate him. Some people said, hey, don't touch him. Oh. He's our man. Hey, let's move him forward. These are black people. Very backward. Useless. When they kill in America, you say, hey, it's racism. Racism. You are a fool. That's not like racism. They are killing you because of your natural stupidity. By nature, you are stupid. As a black person, do you have running water? Without maybe solar charger and generator, will you be watching me now? Are you not ashamed of yourselves? Are you not ashamed? But UNN has engineering department, electrical engineering, electrical and electricals, all rubbish. Uniport has it. Uniben has it. Everywhere, electrical and electrical engineering. Whatever that rubbish means, I don't know. No, electrical and electronics. But there is no light. The reason why they sent you to school to go and study electrical engineering is so that when you come out, there will be no more power shortage in the village. That's the reason why. So you don't know. Hey, Biafra must come. And when Biafra does come, everybody will be free. If Biafra is not free, none of you is going to be free. And that is why I have said it before and allow me to repeat. We have come to set all of you free. And if you allow this nonsense to continue, you'll be sunk. If you have not gotten your Somali visa, go and get it now. Because the zoo is gone. And the hell has arrived.
We give praise to Chukwokike, our God, our Lord, the God of Biafra, the one who has mandated the movement and the program of Biafra and instituted the narrative of everything and the details, the ingredients, the features, and the concept and the gospel of truth that will help us to fight this and to get our freedom. I want to thank him. Glory be to Chukwokike. According to the prayer, also, Mazen, I'm going to pray when I began this broadcast. Anybody who is standing against Biafra and is through their program or his program or her program sustaining the narrative of Nigeria, let the fire of the Lord deal with them and let the spirit of Biafra take care of them. I want to welcome you to this broadcast today. Today is the 27th day of June, yes, 2023. Today is, I remember 2 years ago, yesterday, 26th day of June, Mazen Ambikano was brought into the contraption called Nigeria, and it was brought into Abuja. And the painful thing is that before that day, that 27th, he had already been kidnapped on the 9th of June. And by that kidnap, we all in the dark. And what hurts me so much is that from that 19th, we were all expecting, based on the fact that we were having a series of prayers, and it was reading the book of Psalms. And so the impression that I had as at that time, and I know most of you had also, when Mazen Amikano was missing for some time, he was not broadcasting, and we felt maybe he's praying or maybe he's seeking God's face, just doing some spiritual work. And of course, that kept us calm. That kept every one of us, or basically those who are innocent in their hearts, kept us calm. And we were all hoping when he is going to come up to broadcast. It became 1 week. We were just surprised that Mazen Ambikano was not yet broadcasting. It was a worry, and for those who are genuine in heart, for those who love him, for those who are desiring for Biafra to come, for those who have been looking forward to see that we complete this mission based on the fact that the dragon flag had been lifted, and there's a need for this to happen, for things to happen. And so that was the worry. Was the worrying thing about this whole thing is that some people in our midst knew about this kidnap of Mazen Ambikano, and none of them said anything. They were all quiet, including his siblings. It's worrying because you begin to wonder the extent people can go to betray the cause of a nation or a people, or to betray people they just hate and just have some beef for, having some hatred for, and having some and they just want to get involved in some particular evil, and to make sure that they get it down. The extent people can go to work against themselves. The worrying thing is that the people you least expected to be, to carry out some evil, and that's why life is so painful. That the people who are always behind every betrayal, every sabotage, are people who are close to what is to be sabotaged or betrayed. It's worrying, but even if we know that it is definitely something that we cannot change, because it has been so from the beginning of time. It has been so because betrayal had always been effective, because someone who is close to someone who is going to be betrayed had to compromise somehow, and by their compromise, there's a particular situation that arises, and then the people who are going to be betrayed, the person who's going to be betrayed, or ever the people who are going to benefit from it, and the person who's going to be betrayed gets betrayed, and the one who benefits from it benefits. And then, but anyways, I want to also remind us that in spite of the fact that betrayal is always evident of a particular situation that causes a delay or causes some kind of damage, there's always the repercussion that comes against those who carry out this betrayal. And then, of course, in the end, there is a blessing that comes with those who are betrayed in the long run. And yes, we know that sometimes it happens that we find losses. We have losses. We have so many situations. But the truth here is that there is always something that is being promoted positively when the act of betrayal is evident. Yeah, yes, because you can see it even in the life of God himself when he made a provision for the redemption of man. You saw it when Judas went for betrayal, when he chose to betray, being that he's close to God himself, coming in flesh, that's Christ, and then he betrays him. But that betrayal was going to be beneficial to humanity, because betrayal is always part of a program, but it's not understood because we have a particular mindset about things that we want to achieve. The natural mind of a human being wants to just achieve things without trouble, without going through pain, without going through any circumstance, without every one of us want to achieve without experiencing pain, without experiencing denial, without experiencing delays, without experiencing any negativity. Am I correct? Every one of us want to actually want to do this because we want to get it. We just want to get results. We just want to invest and have the results. We don't want to have a situation of losses. We always want to get the benefits and the blessing. We have this because we feel that things should just work out as much as we believe that they should work out, and as much as we believe in God, and we pray about it, and we just want it to work and the way it should work, and things should just be fine. It's like trying to get to a place, and then there's a drum or something in front of you that stops you from getting to the other side, and then you just have to deal with that thing that is in front of you. You have to move that thing. It's just like you want to enter into a door, you want to enter into another place, into the building, and then there's a door before you, and the door is open, and this door is open, an evidence that you can enter. But in front of that open door, you have a particular structure that is put in front of that door, preventing you from entering. Now, that is how it is in life. We have a situation, we have a hope of where we're going, we have a mindset of what we want to achieve. Every one of us want to achieve Biafra. We want to actually get Biafra. We want it to come. We just want it to come. Some of us are sitting down and somewhere waiting for other people to work it out. And some of us are just hoping that somebody will be there for the purpose of Biafra. They should make the sacrifices. They should do all they can do and all of that. And of course, in whether you're waiting or you're actively involved in trying to get Biafra, there is this particular stuff that is standing before you, just like that material or that instrument or that arcade that you have in front of the door that takes you into the house. And then what you have to do is, now you can't pass through the windows because there are burglaries, in the windows, and you can't take any other door. This is just the entrance point. And what you need to do is, knowing that you have to get into that house, what you need to do at that point is to make sure you get rid of that instrument blocking you from entering the building. Am I correct? That is what happens. And so you just have to do anything, knowing that what you need is in that building. You just have to do anything to get rid of that structure or that thing blocking you from getting into the building. That is what it is whenever you are going to face a circumstance in life. It is like that thing blocking you from entering into where you want to go. And so the Biafra we're looking for is in view. We see it in our mind. We hope to have it. We believe it is very important for us. We just want to get into it. But there's this obstacle in front of us. And that obstacle is put there because someone wants to stop you from entering. There are some group of people who either by compromise or knowing that what you need is in that building, or maybe they don't just want to distract you from getting in. They just want to keep you away from accessing what you are thinking of achieving. And then so that stuff is put in front of you, blocking you from getting in. That thing you see, that thing that blocks you from getting into that building, is like the obstacle that blocks us, that is put there by the saboteurs, put there by the enemies. It is like the compromise of these people who claim to be fighting for Biafra. It is like the compromise of these people who claim to love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu so much. It's like the compromise of these people who are e-frogs, who are supporting those who are compromising, or those who are stopping or fighting or trying to stop the narrative of Biafra. And that is what it is. And so that obstacle does not mean that there is no blessing in the other side. That obstacle does not mean that Biafra is not attainable, achievable. But that obstacle is there because there is a compromise somewhere, or someone wants to stop you from getting what you are supposed to get. All you need to do is to get rid of the obstacle. And that is what we are here to do today. That is why I am broadcasting today. That is why we are talking about structures or structure. That is why we're talking about fixing the odds. That is why we're here today. Welcome to this broadcast today. That's my intro right now. 10 minutes. It's interesting. Listen to it if you didn't hear it initially. It's very, 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 very important. It will help us to understand the whole of this today. And I'm going to open the line. Edith Nedu have told me to open the line. If you want to call in, those who want to talk and who just want to call in, I'm going to open the lines for you. You're going to speak. I'm going to hear you. Comrade, thank you so much, my brother. Media, thank you so much. Always been around and doing your beat of course, your beat for the whole concept and the narrative of Biafran movement. Good to have you. Thank you so much, my dear sister. I appreciate you. And thank you for always being here. And I know that there are some other people who are here who might not, and they are observing. And I just remember now, someone, the person who called yesterday, he said he's watching me, and I just laughed. I was just laughing because I know that there are so many watching. It's good to us. That means when we watch, we need to do it for us, and not because we are watching, not because we are so watchful or we are perfect in watching, or we have what it takes to watch, but because overall, or the overseer who tells us what to watch and how to watch, who directs our path and teaches us how to arrange and do the things we need to do rightly so that we can get results. See, let me tell you something. Biafra is a very fundamental faculty. I call it faculty because it represents an ideology, and it represents a life. It represents a kind of transformation that should come to earth. It represents a kind of transformation. Let me tell you something. All over the nations of the world, we have black people. Let me just give that adjective. Let me use that, that adjectival phrase. Let me use black people. Let me use that adjectival phrase, black people. Now, you see, I would want to use that black people as an adjectival phrase here, not because we are black, not by the color of our skin, or not because we are devils, as they put it. Because the definition of black people by the British and other people who decided to call us that was not because of our skin, but because they were trying to qualify us as evil people. That is why you can see they say white people and black people. They categorize it based on the fact that they want to make us feel that whatever we were doing initially, our religion, our culture, our design, and everything we are is incongruous, does not fit, and is evil. So they have come to give us light. They have come to give us direction. They have come to teach us what to do, and they have come to put us on the right path. They were trying to, give us that. I'm sorry, most of you would just wonder what kind of strategy does this guy use in his broadcast. I'm not someone who will come and begin to gossip about what happened here and what happens there, even if, of course, I am going to always give those descriptions, But my kind of broadcasting is definitive. So that I can give you a perspective to some stuff that can help you reason well. And that is what my mission is. And that is why we are watchers. That is why we're doing what we're doing. I'm not those broadcasters who come to tell you, don't read. So they now put something. James, this one say, Mark Zuckerberg said this. You don't read, though. Wazirike don't say this one. You don't talk for this one. Oh. I don't do this kind of broadcasting. Everybody have their strategy. You know, I know how people love those kinds of stuff. They don't. They just feel bored when it comes to, you know, things that will you know help them brainstorm. But this is what we need. The real teaching, so that we're able to get perspective to what we are going to do in Biafra. We are too dependent on gossips. That is why we don't have access to the substance of what Biafra represents. Now, you cannot find the substance of what Biafra represents in the narrative of gossips. That's the truth. You can never find the substance of what Biafra represents in the context of gossips. Yes, it is good to get notion or ideas from gossips, because gossips will always be out there, and gossips will also reveal some stuff to you. But the truth here is, you need those gossips to help you form a better perspective to the things around you, so that you can have full knowledge on how to deal with these things, not just gossiping and crossing your legs to make a decision on whether you were going to, how you're going to act based on the gossip. No, because I've come to discover that most of the problems we have here is that some of our people, you know, and thank you, Jaffe. I think I saw Jaffe here. He just connected to the channel. I saw Biafra Pride 2 now. Just connected. You have not connected yet. Okay, you came in. Maybe you're going to do that. You know, Ego, thank you. Dodorigin, Diruno. Okay, you're talking to us all. Thank you, Ego. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for your good job. You are making us proud. Thank you so much, Edith Nedu. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for that. I wanted to understand something here when it comes to Biafra, and that will lead me into the structure I'm talking about. Now, but before I'm going to talk about the structure of Biafra, I'm going to play a particular video that gives you a perspective of why we want freedom. And this video is critical for us to understand what is happening in the zoo, in the contraption. You see, whenever you allow yourself, you know, there's this particular narrative that says the way you lay your bed is the way you lie on it. Dress the way you want to be addressed. You know, these are very powerful and simple statements, but they're very powerful. They have fundamental grip on life. They have fundamental, you know, connection to life. They have fundamental, direction to how we can reason properly so that we can get it right in our lives. They are very fundamental. They are simple, but very fundamental. When you hear somebody say, dress the way you want to be addressed, now you know, dress, you know, is an address, and dress. And somebody says, lay your bed, you lie on it. It's deep seated, because it opens you up to some very, very fundamental things about life. That means your structure determines how you run. Your structure determines how people run with your vision. It's fundamental in that regard too. Because when you talk about dressing, it means setting up a structure or a design. Dress the way you want to be addressed. Set up a design, a structure, the way you want people to work with you, and the pattern you want to give to people to work with you. That means by the structure you set, you have a standard in which people can look at you and know if you are serious or you are unserious. And that is why I want to bring this to you. Now, there are two sides to Biafra freedom. There is the side of context, and there's the side of the narratives that are connected to stories. Let me just look for a simple term, you know, stories, you know, frivolities. Now, context deals with the issues. Before I life, there is the context, distractions, the stories, the distractions. But if you also, context of all of this, you know, there's the distractions also have a way, you know, forming determining your approach and tactics to how you deal with the context. Let me put it in another way so you can understand. When you want to go to, if you are living in the zoo, for instance, let me talk to those who are in the zoo. You are, and you want to go to Oshodi. That axis, most of us will know it. Or let's say, if you don't know it, let's say from Oshodi, you want to go to Mile 2. I think that place, people know it very well. You're at Oshodi and you want to go to Mile 2. When you set your vehicle or you start walking, if you, those who, there are some people who can walk. I remember that period when there was in 2000 and in 1998 or so, 98, when there was this strike. You know, there was this strike. Was it a strike or something? No, there was election in 1998. Election, December 5th or so, I can remember. And there was this election towards the transition, you know, the new government, you know, coming to the zoo. You know, when they are moving from the military to the civilian rule. Of course, that civilian rule in quotes, it's not civilian rule, it's still the military that was in control, because what you call civilian are those people who are in the military, who just in their military uniform put the agbada on it, and then they come to tell you that they are now in democracy. That's laughable. I think December 5th of 1998, I went for a music show with my band then. I had, I used to have a band, music band, as at that time. And I went to a music show at Ojota area. And that place I went, Ojota, was Assemblies of God Church, Ojota. Yes, Ojota, yes, I remember. And it was a Friday, because that 5th of December was Saturday. The election was going to be on Saturday. But in that show, in that program, we closed late for that music show, which my group did fantastically well. You know, I know how to, take the shine, my group know how to take the shine when we get to any program, because of course, as a professional, I train them very well and we do very well. Some of them, I believe some of them could be hearing my voice and they'll just be smiling, So now, after the program, we closed. I think we closed late. I think we closed past 6, and then we decided to now rest. When you do some gist and then interaction and all of that, and then we started leaving there because elections was going to begin 8 o'clock, and there's going to be total no movement, no vehicle movement, and all of that. So you just be where you are and vote. And we now started moving. We now came out around 7, thinking we're going to get a vehicle that will pick us. From that 7, we were standing at the bus stop to get a vehicle, to charter a bus that will take us all. By then, we're living towards that Festac area, that access. So you can see the distance from Ojota to that area. The distance was something else. We stood on the road until it became past 8, no vehicle. Lord have mercy. We started trekking home. Now, so we trek. We were trekking from Ojota going to my 2. From my 2 going to, those area. Now, so we begin trek, my brothers and my sisters. With the sleepy eyes, we were trekking. I said, that was when I knew that, what? So we can trek. I said, we trekked until it was 12 noon. I got to the house around to 1 in the afternoon. Trek from Ojota. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. That's why I can't forget that date. At the 5th of December, 1998. It was crazy. I mean, well, thank you so much. I was glad you could even from here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. It was crazy. But anyways, we were able to trek. Now, let's just say now we're trekking. Our destination is Festac, for instance. Our destination, Festac. And then, the road from Ojota to Festac is just a direct road, the highway. Then you cross through Anthony, you divert through Anthony. I think that's the easiest way to go, because if you go through straight towards towards Jibo and all those places, it's going to be a distance. And then you go to Ojuelegba and then cross to Ojuelegba towards National Theatre area, and then you divert to go take Orile area to go to Mile 2. That's a long distance, so it's better to take through Anthony. Now, of course, that path going towards stadium, Ojuelegba, then after Ojuelegba Stadium, and then from stadium to, to Body Thomas area, take those areas to Orile, and then from there to Koka to to Koka, and then to Alaba International, cross to mile 2 and all of that. That's also a path. It depends on where I want to take. Now we take through Anthony, and then we walk down, and then we take Oshodi, take through to Sele and all of those places too. That's also a path. Now you can imagine me now walking through, get to Oshodi, and then after getting to Oshodi, then I now walk down, that's Ijesha, Sele before Ijesha. Of course, you get to Sele before you get to Ijesha, going towards the 2, and then you now get to Ijesha, then or I get to Sele. Instead of me to still go straight to get to mile 2, I now cross the road. Now cross the road and take that road. Those corners where you see all those guys smoking and all of that. Take those roads and just walk and get to Mushin. I think they're now, and it has been mentioned that is a clear sign of distraction. Let's just say when I get to Sele, I now check to the road to that place just to listen to the gist. And then those who are quarreling and fighting, they are now going into Mushin. I now follow them because of my prognosing spirit. I start joining them and walking, going into Mushin. Before I know it, I find myself in Ojuelegba again. Oh yes, Ojuelegba, and through Sele area. I want you to get this. I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to bring out the narrative out of this because I'm trying to bring out the narrative out of this so that we can understand. Please get the narrative out of this so that you can understand. Now, my path, my destination is supposed to be mile 2, right? But I now diverted because I saw something happening along the road, and I crossed the road and found myself going in towards Mushi. Now, that didn't mean I didn't have a destination. My destination is mile 2, but I was not discreet enough to be focused so that I could get to my destination on time. Now, that is why in every act of trying to achieve a narrative or a thing in life, there is the context and there are the distractions. Sorry, in the midst of the purpose to achieve, the distractions are always more than the context, because the context is one way, it's a focus. It has to do with the mark. But the distraction has to do with so many things on the way to getting to get what you want to get. Am I making sense here? I want people to understand shadow and the real image, shadows and the real image, process of a journey and the destination. Thank you, Ego, for that. Yes, the shadow and the image in focus. I press towards the head, and then you look at the very, the stuff on the way. My destination is mile 2, and then I get to Sele bus stop. I cross the road to see some people quarreling, and I divert. Now, most of you in Biafra struggle have diverted because you saw something happening somewhere, or you saw somebody. When remember those days in mile 2 when you see all those guys who they carry charm up and down. They will use knife. They'll be cutting themselves. The knife will not enter. They will use that knife to cut orange. The knife will not cut. Then when they remove that thing on their body, they cut. The knife is so sharp. And then you see somebody put a carton on the road, cover it with cloth, and then do some incantation, and then put his hand into the carton, begin to bring different kinds of goods, an empty carton, so many kinds of things. This is on the way, but your destination is important. This is a very good explanation. Thank you so much, Ego. Now, if we want to get Biafra, we must now come to understand what the context is, or the real image is, and the distractions or the shadow, the illusion, or the mirage. We must understand the difference. Very, very, very important. That is why we are doing this teaching today. But before I go into that, because I think it's basic for me now to be doing these teachings so that we don't get ourselves messed up by all these distractions. Come here to talk about this, that one did this, and did it. We see all the evil. We see all those distractions. and we are going to point to the passengers that are with us, the distractions. No, that thing you saw there, that thing you saw at the other side of Celeb Bus Stop is not where we're going. That thing has nothing to do with where we're going. It is very, very important that the watchers, those who know the way and who have decided to be on the steering, keep updating the passengers and telling them the things that are wrong. But that is not our focus. Because our focus is to make them understand what is in the destination and why what is in the destination is more important than the distraction on the way. People like Simon, they are distractions. People like the members of DOS, they are distractions. People like, there are so many distractions along the way. We all must understand that the context is the destination. Distractions by bringing in falsehood to distract people from facts. Thank you so much, Ego, for that. The fact or the context here is the destination, and you must understand that the destination is more important than any other activity that comes along the way. Now, let me tell you something. Let me give you some. There's one strange thing about distractions. Do you know, or did you know? Because they say, "Did you know?" is the correct or not? Do you know? They said, "Did you know?" But I prefer to say, "Do you know?" because is it did you know? So you're supposed to have known. Anyways, it's cool. Did you know that that thing you see as distraction might be somebody else's focus? Oh my God, I'm going deep now for some people who might just be wondering what is he saying here. Now, did you know that if I get to Celeb Bus Stop, for instance, and my destination is mile 2, and some activities are going on in Celeb Bus Stop, which to me, they are distractions because that's not where I'm going. Did you know that that particular thing I call distraction might be somebody else's focus? Oh, yeah. I want you to understand this. Yes. But these are not, for the fact that it is somebody else's focus does not mean that it has any relevance in what I'm doing. Because the relevance connected to what I'm doing is based on what I want to achieve at a particular time. If Biafra is our focus and there's a distraction program going on somewhere that represents the narrative called Nigeria, because everything Simon and Co are doing represents the spirit of Nigeria, defrauding the people. I'm going to play you a video that spells all these details before I go into the structure of transparency and the next line of action. If everything that is happening at a particular time has the features of Nigeria, it benefits those who are in that program, that clique, because their focus is actually on that particular thing that is error to me. For instance, everything that has to do with Nigeria is illegality to what we want to do in Biafra. Which means that if I am and fix Biafra, if I am going to pursue the narrative of Biafra, if I am going to go for anything that to do with Biafra, anything that is a feature of Nigeria should never be an element of design or plan or included in the plan I have for Biafra. Because Biafra and Nigeria, when you have words and opposites, let me make it simple for those who, the elementary English, words, opposite. They tell you good is opposite is bad. The opposite of good is bad. When you have opposite of Nigeria is Biafra. That's why we say Nigeria is lies, Biafra is truth. Nigeria is foolishness. Biafra is intellectualism. So it is either you're an intellectual or you're a Nigerian. These are two. You can't be the same. You can't be the two. You can be a Biafran by birth and still be a Nigerian, which means that by birth and all of that. That's why I tell you that Biafra is defined in 2 ways. We have those who are born as naturally, nobody can take it from you. You are just a Biafran because you were born into it, or somehow you are a citizen, maybe married to a Biafran and all of that. You have this bond and now you are a Biafran. but there's another level of being a Biafran, you know, as expressed in the adjectival form. That's the adjective of Biafran. Now, the other one I defined was the noun. You are a Biafran by birth. But adjective now, adjectively, let me put it that way. By adjective, you are a Biafran or you are a Nigerian, because it describes you by your attitude, your action, your action, your character and behavior. That is the context of what it is now. Very good point, Edith Nedu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I give chess, man. Hypnotism make money, disrupt the laid down works of MNK. These are Simon's destination. Yes. Now that is why I said that action here is somebody else's focus. Some other people are in that particular distraction just to make money. So when you get there, they steal your time. When you get to somebody else's focus, like Simon, who is building his own organization, when you get yourself distracted from the Biafra project and get to his own corner, which is like when you're going to mile 2 and you now cross the road to go and see what is happening at Cele bus stop there, you have now been diverted to that. And what happens is this: your presence in that regard benefits the person whose focus is to gain with that situation. But for you who have deviated, it is a minus, because you are no more in line with where you're going, but you have left the realm of where you're going, and you are now in a realm that benefits somebody's greed, somebody's selfishness, somebody else's purpose. And so what that happens is this: as soon as you get to do that, one, you lose time, because if for you to come back on track, that's, you know, that action of going to where going to crossing the road and getting to the other side of the road to get distracted, you have lost time, you have lost energy, you have lost both mental energy and physical energy. And of course, it might even cost you money, because sometimes you get there and maybe you want to buy some stuff, you know, maybe get there now, you need to spend money for that person. You lose money, you lose time, you lose energy, physical energy, mental energy. And it is dangerous, because when you don't understand the fullness of your destination, distractions become a very easy prey on you. Did you get that? When you don't have a total grasp or a very formidable or rich understanding of your destination, you become an easy prey to forces of distraction. And they will prey on you until you are destroyed. And that is what is happening to some of our people right now. Some of our people are no more reasoning properly. And one thing about distraction is that the more you pay attention on distraction, it begins to look like real to you, like something that should warrant your attention. As soon as you are distracted mentally by the forces of distraction, what happens at that point is that your attention begins to get diverted, especially when you are now being excited emotionally by that narrative of distraction. That is why people can hold on to Nigeria. That is why you hear some people, they say one Nigeria. That is why, because they are afraid that this place I've gotten to know emotionally. And so they feel that, how do I think that this too I'm going now might be a good thing for me? Why not I remain here? As much as you believe you're catching the fall, that as much as it is, you are being ripped of your vital resources, your mental energy, the resource of your finances, the resource of your focus. And that is why every person who, or let me say, like the Yorubas will say, every person. No, the Yorubas, they say person. I remember one of my teachers those days in secondary school, he said person. Every person who is in Biafra program understand that distractions are very forceful, are very, very forceful. If you are not careful, you will be swept off your feet. Confusion has set in them. They are in the point of dilemma. That's it. Thank you. It sets a confusion in your mind because you don't have a full grasp. That is why it's not about how much you have listened to Mazin and Dekan. If the seed, it's just like what Jesus said. He said, when the word goes, he sends the word, and when it goes, follow soil and all of that. The one that falls on the, I say falls, on the good soil, germinates and produces. But the ones that fall on the rocky place and might have a little connection to the soil, but because of the rocks, it does not have a full ability to actually spread its roots, and then it dies. So you see what happens when you receive information and re-information and information, and without grasping those information in line with purpose, Now, there's one thing about grasping information and grasping information in line with purpose. Because all the information Mazin Amkanu gave us has a connection to purpose. But some people grasp those information without connection to purpose. What is the purpose? Achieving Biafra. What is the narrative that Mazin Amkanu gave about Biafra? Truth, transparency, accountability, consistency. Now, because this in line with now becomes a distraction, because anything that you see on the way becomes like it is real to you. I like programs, so please stop putting much attention to grammatical expression. Most often it offers the real message. Consider the fact that many audiences are academia reps. Thank you so much. I honestly, I tell you, sometimes I don't even know that. I don't know how I'm going to make this thing simple. Honestly, Chris Lucky or Lucci Initiative TV. I don't know. Please, I'll try. I don't know. I think I explain things better when I don't know how to. I don't know I'm going to make this simple. I'm really sorry. I wish I can have. Oh my God, help me. Okay, God help me. Let me make it simple here. How do I do this? Lord help me. All right. Thank you so much, Ethan. Excellent teaching. Now, we want to achieve Biafra. Let me try to be simple and very down to earth. We want to achieve Biafra. How do we want to achieve Biafra? That becomes the big question. But before we talk about the how, we must understand what Biafra represents and why we want to achieve Biafra. Because when you know what it represents and why, and then you can say now how we are going to go about it. So the what, the why helps us define the how. Am I correct? That means, what is Biafra? That is where the teachings of Mazin Amkanu come in. So many, I think I have to be scouting out this some of these messages of Mazin Amkanu and bringing them little by little, playing them bit by bit, playing and reminding people these things little by little, the little, little here, little there, so that don't bug them with a long one, just a few, to 1 minute, 2 minutes, and grasp some basic points so that people can, because the what, we are still fighting with the what. That was why I talked about, getting, it's one thing to get information or to get the message or to listen to the messages, and it's another thing to get it in line with the purpose, with focus, with understanding. So the what here now, what is Biafra? What does Biafra represent? Mazin Amkanu have given us so many teachings in that regard, and our eyes are open. And let me put it in the grammar of those people who will understand. When you say our eyes, they think if you are going to talk about eyes, then you're going to also talk about it. If it is more than one, then it has to be ISIS. They'll say, hey, you are wrong there. You say, no, not our eyes are open, because you're talking about our, so it is ISIS. Our ISIS are open. Our ISIS, there's not like ISIS anyways, but anyways, just one of those jokes anyway. So now our eyes are open. Now, what is Biafra? It now leads us to, why do we need Biafra? And then after that, we now talk about how are we going to get it? Now, this takes me to a dimension that will take us another hours and days to, but we're going to go on the what. And that is where we'll be talking about the fullness of what we're doing and how we're going to go about it. Because the structure here comes at the point of why and how. No, sorry, not why. The question of how, because that's where the structure thing comes in. But the what reveals the nature of the structure. Oh my God, help me. God help me to speak these things in a better way people understand. The what gives us the features of how the structure can be set. Because you see, our people are just working in these things because they don't have knowledge. And that is why you see people jump here. Some people come to threaten you. They want to kill you. They say, hey, if you are fighting this one, you are fighting that one. You are fighting Simon, and we're coming to kill you. We know your location, and we know where you are. Lord, for God's sake, you are just deceiving yourselves. Selves. Drag it very well. Church Lucky has a point. Oh, dear brother, because many of our people. Oh my God, help me, God, help me. Am I not being simple now? Please help me. Please, Initiative TV, tell me if I am being better now, if it's better now. Chris Lucky or Chris Lucky, and also Edith Nedu, please now, because I want to. Because it's ignorant CT Boribos, you know. Oh my God. So now. I want to have it. I want people to tell me, please, if I'm being simple. If I'm going too hard, please make me so that I can try to simplify it. Now, we want to look at the what, and from the what we talk about the how, and then from the how we talk about the why, the what, the why, and the how. Now we're at the point of the what, because from the what we're going to begin to understand what structure actually means and the details of how structure functions. But before I go into that, I'm going to go into this video that gives us a narrative of Nigeria, because we have to understand the opposite side of what we're looking for, so that when we meet distractions, we can identify them. I don't know whether you understand. The only time you are going to make a child know what is good and bad is to tell them this is good and this is bad. This one is for your daddy, this one is for your mommy, this one is for you. By the time you give them that knowledge, they will now take the one that belongs to them. They will leave the one that belongs to daddy. And when your brother belongs to daddy, they say, no, don't touch it, it's for daddy. You know why? You have passed the information. And so it is very, very important for us to have this information. So when you are going to set now, the action of that child is defined by the knowledge that comes from information. Am I right? So the information that comes with that knowledge, that the information that impacts that knowledge helps the child to do the right thing. Am I correct? So this is what we want to do. So we want to get the information, the what. But listen to this video and let's get the full meaning of Nigeria and what we can never have in Biafra. Now listen, in this particular video, you're going to see the role of Nigeria. You're going to see the role of the international community. You're going to see you're going to see what Nigeria is, not role of Nigeria now, because everything is about Nigeria. So you're going to see what Nigeria is. Then you're going to see the international community as represented by Bill Gates and his rogue team. Then you're going to see the what is happening to the Nigerians by what Bill Gates and his team are doing against the people. And then you're going to now see the other aspect of it, and few people represented by the man who is speaking and representing the few people who know the truth. But of course, they don't know how to go about the truth. Now, this video gives a very detailed analysis of Nigeria and what it means to be a Nigerian. This man represents the academia, the academicians in Nigeria. The information, he tries to make you know what is happening. He tries to give you information of so many things that's gone wrong in Nigeria, but he doesn't know how these things are going to be solved. The solution here is that the kind of solution that they are preferring is that everything be fixed in the context of Nigeria. But Nigeria itself is an edifice of error. So how can you fix error? By applying error in its own principles or notion. It doesn't work that way. Now listen to this.
It was a trick. And we know for sure that this was headed by an international organ trafficking cartel. They funded the National Assembly of some people estimate to the tune of 6.2 billion US dollars. They also bought all the Nigerian government, federal government hospitals at the cost of 3.2 billion US dollars. They even offered to buy all the Catholic hospitals for $2 billion, but the bishops refused that. So this is a well-organized cartel who are actually moving into Nigeria in order to actually buy up, or they have already paid an advance on all our organs. Anybody in the Federal Republic of Nigeria has no entitlement to their organs as it stands today with the law. And we know this for sure, that these are billionaires from the United States who funded this organ trafficking cartel to take the organs of Nigerians. Now, my colleague AGK had asked whether I was there when this cartel made a negotiation. The answer is yes, I was physically present in a deliberation. We were called as leaders of the private health sector to the headquarters of General Electric, the biggest company in the world, the leading medical company in the world. I was representing the Catholic Medical Practitioners of Nigeria and the Association of General and Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria as the committee chairman of the National Health Act. And presiding over this National Health Act public hearing was Senator Ike Ekweremadu, who was then the Deputy Senate President. And
let me comment there. Who did you say was presiding?
Well, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, he was the presiding senator for the bill public hearing. And the sponsor, the chief sponsor, was Ifeanyi Okowa, now governor, but then Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. And just sitting by his side was also Dr. Chris Ngige, so who was then a senator. So all of them were there, and I made this argument directly pointing out Section 48, that Section 48 makes an exemption that is impossible. You don't exempt, there is no situation in medicine where you can overrule or say the consent is waived. Consent is never waived. It could be transferred to the next of kin, but it's never waived in any situation. That is part of the Helsinki Declaration. So it's an international treaty. So we cannot make an exemption here in Nigeria. Then I also pointed out the loophole in Section 51. You cannot have the medical practitioner or the medical director of a hospital be the one to authorize that an organ is taken from someone to be given to another person. So it is wrong. You can't give what you don't have. That's a legal principle. Then I pointed out in Section 53 that it is also when you say reasonable cost for reimbursement of reasonable payments. What does that mean? Is 10 million naira reasonable payment for kidney? Some people will tell you that too. So you actually legalized the sale of organs in Section 53. Now, my colleague AGK had asked whether I was there when this cartel made a negotiation. The answer is yes, I was physically present in a deliberation. We were called as leaders of the private health sector to the headquarters of General Electric, the biggest company in the world, the leading medical company in the world. And we were told that Bill Gates offered them $2 billion to build 260 hospitals in Nigeria. So they want us to name our price so that we can be paid off, so we will leave the entire medical system, so that we will not be practicing medicine, we will not be practicing pharmacy, we will not be practicing laboratory science. In Nigeria, no Nigerian will be in the medical profession. And we should just name our price so we will be compensated for. We couldn't believe ourselves.
Why would anyone do a thing like that?
This was done. I was present. It's not somebody told me. I was physically present before the executives of a General Electric with a number of other Nigerians in the health sector, in pharmacy, in laboratory sciences, and there were executives of GE from their headquarters in New York. This is the first time it's happening in the history of humanity. Nothing like this has ever happened. And I warned Ike Kurumado before the Senate, and Nigerians there will bear me witness, and many of them still remember. I told Ike Kurumado before the entire public hearing that he will be the first victim of this law he's standing for. Before everybody. Senator Kowa can also bear me witness because he was there. And I told him, it now seems like a prophecy come true. And this was exactly what happened. That the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria sold the entire organs of the Nigerian people, even when they knew that this was the situation. And that is very, very, very bad.
This is the first time this kind of thing is happening in the history. This is the first time you have such kind of legislation by Ikuremadu. This now how much you were able to information, because I'm going to try maybe again this video later for people to get this information. Now I want us to understand the mess we're in, the level of mess. Now I want to like video to so many things that have to do with our fight for freedom and all the activities that is involved. This is going to be part one of this broadcast. I'm not going to make it long. It won't exceed 1 hour 30 minutes, but 30 minutes I'm going to out we can begin to we can look to the part two, because I'm going to take this particular teaching, it's going to be through a process. It's going to be procedural here, because it is very, very important for us to get this stuff. Now this is a man. Now I see the man as an innocent Nigerian, or a very concerned Nigerian who is concerned about the situation of the people, and who is in the working or the health sector. And then, of course, we're in serious problems with the consent of the people. No, the consent of the people has nothing to do with this. They go, nothing. What terrible situation? Yes, they do. That's very terrible. But of course, if we can say it's an evil country, of course, it's an evil country. We don't understand this evil. And what is so disheartening is that in spite of all of these, there are people who still want to sabotage people who want to actually get things free. Now, in spite of this, there are people who still want to support those who are sabotaging their need to be free. They don't see the danger they are in, because they don't know the value of where they should be. And so it's critical, because I have to open up the minds of the people to understand this. Now, let's look at this critically now, based on facts. I want to first look at the man presenting this case, this situation. I want to first look at him. If you ask him a question, he's going to tell you he's a Nigerian. That's what he's going to tell you. He's going to tell you he's a Nigerian. What else will he tell you? I'm a Nigerian and I want good for Nigerians. That's what he's going to tell you. Maybe he believes in Biafra also, but he doesn't want to say it. There's this kind of spirit we have when you see people in different positions. Maybe they are in the medical field, they're in the Senate, they're in politics. Also, let me generalize it. They're in the political, class, or they are some of those who are benefiting from politics, from the political class, or they are in business, making money, good money. They have houses all over the contraption, and so they have everything, and so they don't want to identify with their freedom based on the fact of their selfish their selfish ends. I have this, I have that, I am this, I am a professional, I head this department in Nigeria, I do this, I do that, and all of that. So I don't want to come out to give my full support for Biafra or freedom because, well, let the people who are doing it, let them fight for it. In my heart, I believe in Biafra. But please don't tell me about Biafra. Don't discuss it where I am. And let's continue doing what we're doing. If those who are going to fight for freedom, let them fight for it. If they get it, then we go back to our country or go back to our nation, and then we get our freedom, and then we continue from there. These are the kinds of people who are also very, very dangerous because they give a perspective to how the international community view and, of course, sentimentally view the operations of the people. And so I see this man representing such kinds of people. Two, I see him as someone who is concerned, who is a concerned Biafran. Maybe he's a Biafran and he believes in that. He's from, maybe he's given his bills, he's given his own donations and all of that. Maybe, I don't know. But now I want to put him in that platform of a Nigerian because by what he has shown here, he's a concerned Nigerian. Now, this position this man occupies is the same position that most people who are in this Biafra movement thing are in. And most people who just are here and there, they have their feet here and there, they are in. You know why? There's no way you can talk about a thing, a threat to the existence of a people, and then you have a notion of the solution. But because of the sentiment of what you think you are getting from the distraction, that is why I talked about distraction and where you're going. Now, because of a sentiment or the emotional position you have about a particular thing, I've seen people who argue about this issue of Biafra. They tell you, what is Biafra? We are Nigerians. That's where I was born in Nigeria. We are, let's just stay. And all their argument, all that the argument contains is that it will lead to bloodshed. It will lead to this and that. When you talk about Biafra, you want to kill people. Now, my big question is, how does Biafra represent the killing of the people? First, you must understand that there is no way you can effectively seek to be free when you keep the sentiment of Nigeria within you. This man represents some of us who are hypocrites, who just want to talk about the problems, who want to tell the world what is going wrong and reveal everything that's going wrong, just like we have so many people on the media space in Nigeria, so many people in Biafra land, and so many people all over the place in the contraption. They want to always tell you, they want to discuss the problems every time they come. It is about the problems, discussing the problems, and they want to discuss it in a sanctimonious way to show their self-righteousness. That's what sanctimonious means, self-righteousness. They want to discuss it and just give information and show to the world that they are very academically sound, and they know what they are saying. They have facts, they have details. And this is the same pattern most of our people are using to steal from the people like Simon. You know what? They want to tell you about the problem of Nigeria. They want to tell you how Nigeria is bad. They want to tell you how this and how that, but they are using that sentiment of what they call the bad in Nigeria to defraud you. Because they know that whenever they reveal these sentiments, whenever they open up and speak about these sentiments, it drags you emotionally. And that is what distraction does. Distraction targets your emotion. So whoever wants to use the concept of deception or the power of deception against you or to capture you, what they do is they target your emotion. Because as soon as they're able to capture your emotion, exposition with no solution. Yes, that's what they do. They just want to tell you about it, how Bill Gates and co are stealing from you, how they have made you slaves and how they have sold your organs, and how I'm still going to come to those details, but let's go get it here. One target, one important focus for anybody who wants to get you to do the wrong thing is to capture your emotion. And that is why whenever you see a situation where, when somebody who is in power falls or is captured, you discover that a woman might be involved, in the sense that women are a direct connection to emotion. Just like what we heard of Abacha. We heard that it was a woman, but I don't know how true it is. Just like what we heard about, there's so many stories, like Samson in scripture. Of course, we know that one. We all can confirm that story by what we have read in scripture. A woman was involved. Now, as soon as you are emotionally blackmailed, you become a victim to deception. Listen to it again. As soon as you are emotionally blackmailed, you become a victim to deception. Now, you see what the man was saying? He was trying to make Nigerians feel good that this thing has come out. And what on here is this. He's making them believe that he has made them see a problem in Nigeria. Now, there's we are going to solve it as Nigerians. We are going to solve it as Nigerians. The solution here is Nigerian intellectual provision, not an intellectual solution. Now, because sometimes when we watch some stuff once, we might not get the full meaning or the details. We might not get the full story. But I want to tell you, watching it right now, this story is about the situation that every Nigerian is in, including those of you living abroad. When you come to the zoo, if something happens to you in the zoo and you're taken to the hospital, they don't have any, they are not obliged. They take your organ. What then we're going to round off for today. Then tomorrow we're going to continue in this narrative to give more exposition. Now I want you to listen to it carefully this time around. Get the whole facts and the details from what this man is saying here. Watch it.
It was a trick. And we know for sure that this was headed by an international organ trafficking cartel. They funded the National Assembly of some people estimate to the tune of 6.2 billion US dollars. They also bought all the Nigerian government, federal government hospitals at the cost of 3.2 billion US dollars. They even offered to buy all the Catholic hospitals for $2 billion, but the bishops refused that. So this is a well-organized cartel who are actually moving into Nigeria in order to actually buy up, or they have already paid an advance on all our organs. Anybody in the Federal Republic of Nigeria has no entitlement to their organs as it stands today with the law. And we know this for sure, that these are billionaires from the United States who funded this organ trafficking cartel to take the organs of Nigerians. Now, my colleague AGK had asked whether I was there when this cartel made the negotiation. The answer is yes, I was physically present in a deliberation. We were called as leaders of the private health sector to the headquarters of General Electric, the biggest company in the world, the leading medical company in the world. I was representing the Catholic Medical Practitioners of Nigeria and the Association of General and Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria as the committee chairman of the National Health Act. And presiding over this National Health Act public hearing was Senator Ike Ekweremadu, who was then the Deputy Senate President. And
let me comment there. Who did you say was presiding?
Well, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, he was the presiding senator for the bill public hearing. And the sponsor, the chief sponsor, was Ifeanyi Okowa, now governor, but then Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. And just sitting by his side was also Dr. Chris Ngige, so who was then a senator. So all of them were there. And I made this argument directly, pointing out Section 48. That Section 48 makes an exemption that is impossible. You don't exempt. There is no situation in medicine where you can overrule or say the consent is waived. Consent is never waived. It could be transferred to the next of kin, but it's never waived in any situation. That is part of the Helsinki Declaration. So it's an international treaty. So we cannot make an exemption here in Nigeria. Then I also pointed out the loophole in Section 51. You cannot have the medical practitioner or the medical director of a hospital be the one to authorize that an organ is taken from someone to be given to another person. So it is wrong. You can't give what you don't have. That's a legal principle. Then I pointed out in Section 53 that it is also when you say reasonable cost for reimbursement of reasonable payments. What does that mean? Is 10 million naira reasonable payment for kidney? Some people will tell you that too. So you actually legalized the sale of organs in Section 53. Now, my colleague AGK had asked whether I was there when this cartel made the negotiation. The answer is yes, I was physically present in a deliberation. We were called as leaders of the private health sector to the headquarters of General Electric, the biggest company in the world, the leading medical company in the world. And we were told that Bill Gates offered them $2 billion to build 260 hospitals in Nigeria. So they want us to name our price so that we can be paid off, so we will leave the entire medical system, so that we will not be practicing medicine, we will not be practicing pharmacy, we will not be practicing laboratory science. In Nigeria, no Nigerian will be in the medical profession. And we should just name our price so we will be compensated for. We couldn't believe ourselves.
Why would anyone do a thing like that?
This was done. I was present. It's not somebody told me. I was physically present before the executives of a General Electric with a number of other Nigerians in the health sector, in pharmacy, in laboratory sciences, and there were executives of GE from their headquarters in New York. This is the first time it's happening in the history of humanity. Nothing like this has ever happened. And I warned Ike Kurumado before the Senate, and Nigerians there will bear me witness, and many of them still remember. I told Ike Kurumado before the entire public hearing that he will be the first victim of this law he's standing for. Before everybody. Senator Kowa can also bear me witness because he was there. And I told him, it now seems like a prophecy come true. And this was exactly what happened. That the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria sold the entire organs of the Nigerian people, even when they knew that this was the situation. And that is very, very, very bad.
Whew. Sorry, it's getting dark here. So my stuff had become dark here. Oh my God. I think I have to just allow people digest this information today very well and think about it so that it will begin to correct some anomalies in our brain, especially those who are jumping here, becoming e-frogs, supporting criminality, supporting anything they see because they are emotionally connected and distracted. You know, because I'm not going to go further in the teaching. I just want people to digest this information they've gotten from this video today. And I want people to digest it very, very well. I want you to digest it very, very well, because this is very, very important. And this is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said concerning people and concerning our people and how they reason. And that is why things like this can be done. And the Senate or the National Assembly does not seem to be bothered, because they believe that nobody can do anything to them. Nobody can ask them questions. Nobody can. Now, when we are talking about Biafra, we understand the details and the ingredients that Nigeria is made of. And so these details are the things that are informing us on how we are going to get our freedom without compromise, because we know that freedom is more important than whatever. Now, I'm going to play what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said concerning the reasoning of our people. You see, with this stuff now, you see the man was saying that they have sold the organs of Nigerians. Now, if you are not a Nigerian, definitely you will not be part of this program, which means you have to get out of Nigeria to be free from this. Let me play it again.
All of you, 200 million idiots, complete morons. You are there. You're looking sheepishly like a bunch of white. In fact, a hyena is better than all of you. Why do I even? Can you manage my makeup? If I want to interact, that is why I don't go to parties. I don't do anything, because the way we reason is laughable. If I want to interact with true Africans, I go to wildlife safari park. At least if I see a zebra, a chimpanzee, those are our true Africans. We can mingle together. Maybe I can understand them better. Because at least if they see danger, they can run. All of you see danger and you keep embracing it. Keep embracing it. Look at Imo State. How many people in Imo State? Over 5 million. Somebody came forth in an election. They pushed him to number 1. Everybody's just like this. Even some bishops want to go and congratulate him. Some people said, hey, don't touch him. Oh. He's our man. Hey, let's move him forward. These are black people. Very backward. Useless. When they kill in America, he say, hey, it's racism. Racism. You are a fool. That's not like racism. They are killing you because of your natural stupidity. By nature, you are stupid as a black person. Do you have running water? Without maybe solar charger and generator, will you be watching me now? Are you not ashamed of yourselves? Are you not ashamed? But UNN has engineering department, electrical engineering, electrical and electricals, all are rubbish. Uniport has it. Uniben has it. Everywhere. Electrical and electrical engineering. Whatever that rubbish means, I don't know. No, electrical and electronics. But there is no light. The reason why they sent you to school to go and study electrical engineering is so that when you come out, there will be no more power shortage in the village. That's the reason why. So you don't know. Hey!
That is where Biafra must come. And when Biafra does come, everybody will be free. If Biafra is not free, none of you is going to be free. And that is why I have said it before, and allow me to repeat. We have come to set all of you free. And if you allow this nonsense to continue, you'll be sunk. If you have not gotten your Somali visa, go and get it now. Because the zoo is gone. And
if you allow this nonsense to continue, you'll be gone. You see this nonsense that's happening in Nigeria. If you allow it to continue, which means that we have a hand in stopping this nonsense. That's what it means. The only thing that can save you from all these policies and these laws that they have set is to get off that name, Nigeria. That is the only thing that solves it. That's the only thing that saves you. That's the only thing. Just like that is why we cannot condone criminality. You know why? We don't condone criminality because, you know, people, this is typical Simon. This is typical Simon works now. Question him not, ask him not. He wants to be in charge as much as he can. Ask questions. That is why we would not be part of that nonsense where you can't ask anything to go, because we know the danger leaving behind. Nigeria is not what we're going to compromise with. Nigeria is not what we're going to negotiate with. Because Nigeria, he said this has not happened in the world before, in humanity. In the sphere of humanity, it has not happened before. You can imagine and they call it the biggest black stuff in Africa. That means the biggest evil ground. That's what it means. The biggest black nation in Africa. The biggest, it's not a nation in the first place, because nation is a group of people with common ties. So they call it the black nation in Africa. That means the biggest place of evil, where massive evil takes place. Now, with all your heart, and know that there is no need for compromise. If you compromise it, you are finished. As Mazi Nnamdi said. As Mazi Nnamdi said, when you compromise Biafra, you are finished. Listen.
Biafra must come. And when Biafra does come, everybody will be free. If Biafra is not free, none of you is going to be free. And that is why I have said it before and allow me to repeat. We have come to set all of you free. And if you allow this nonsense to continue, you'll be sunk. If you have not gotten your Somali visa, go and get it now. Because the zoo is gone. And
Did you hear those great words? In 1 minute. If you allow this nonsense to continue, you will be sunk. The only thing that can free you is Biafra. It's not Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, no show of evil. Of that evil. In Nigeria, you cannot have the evil. It's not possible. If you like, vote the Pope as president of Nigeria. Let's not say Jesus Christ, because we cannot use God to categorize what we're talking about. Vote the Pope into Aso Rock and change the capital and make maybe Owerri the capital, or make Enugu the capital. You are wasting your time. As long as you are in that contract called Nigeria, your organs are gone. Once anything happens to you, they can take your organ and nobody will be asked. And then you'll be dying. You will not know that what they have done is that they have taken your organ. You think you are just sick. You just don't know what has happened to you. They won't ask you. They just tell you need operations. Hey, you need to be operated. Do you know how many people who are losing their organs in the zoo right now? They tell them your case, you have this, you have a hernia, you have fibroid, you have this. We need to operate on you. Not knowing that they know that nothing's wrong with you. All you need to, maybe you need some drugs, and then they operate on you, then remove your organ. You don't know, because they don't need any consent. There's a waiver, no consent. I want to give you the details of what Nigeria represents, and from this video. Maybe tomorrow or next, I'm going to give you more details of what Nigeria represents, because we must talk about this. The part 2 of this program will be tomorrow. I told you I don't want to exceed 1 hour 30 minutes today, so it's not too long, so I can be getting the message and digest them well. Think about this video, play this again, download this video, play it over and over and over again, and think about it. Think about it, and then so that when we're talking about our freedom, you will take it seriously. You will not allow all these distractions, allow all these mirages. You will not allow all these negativities, all these, what do I call them? All these distractions. You will not allow them. You will not allow them. You will not allow them, because you know why? I'm a live broadcast. I'll call you back. I'm on a live broadcast. I'll call you back later. Thank you. So you guys must understand this. We must be free, and we must be free indeed. Thank you so much, everyone. Been called for a meeting. I need to be in a meeting, so I have to end the broadcast here. I appreciate you guys. Please watch this over and over, and meaning of the whole thing I've talked about today, so that we can have a perspective to where we are going. We must begin to do things right. We must begin to do things right. Gone are the days when we begin to play hanky-panky. We play here. Yeah, this one in the rain. Now this one in the rain. Make we follow this one. Hey, now that's on the rain. No. Gone are the days of stupidity. Gone are the days of stupidity. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Ego. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. You say, Paul, God bless you very good. Take care of yourself. We'll see you again.